Hey there, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you so much for watching. What a great show that happened right before this. Tanae Lynn was live and she was doing her weekly game show Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and she got pied in the face 3 times. So if you missed it, make sure you check out that replay when you get a chance. I'm here now to say a huge thank you to everyone who supports this channel. These are everyone who has supported the channel over the last 30 days by going to that website, nextjuice.com, and clicking the support button. Dub's profile picture is already a picture of Tanae with pie on her face. I love her. I love Dub. I love RD, who made that all possible by sending enough super hearts to get her to do it. Thank you, RD. That was so funny. I was laughing so hard. I only have 1 hour between Tanae and Jairus when Jairus comes on at 9 p.m. Eastern to do his music hour. So I wanted to jump on here, do a quick book review so that I'm not doing 3 hours too late tonight. But I do go live on here every single day for 3 hours a day, and this channel is live every day. There's 14 of us that broadcast on this channel, and the connecting theme and thread here is that we're all positive. We're all looking to bring positive energy to your day, to your life, to your world. Hello, Ben's Lists. Hey, Dave, and teach you maybe a little something on the way. So Tanae, even though she was pieing herself in the face, was doing some trivia so you could learn some stuff about that. We had Fabe flexing his skills earlier with some rapping of the comments, which is really creative and awesome. He does that every week too, usually on Sunday nights. RD, thank you for the super hearts. Unfortunately, I do not have the pie face game. I don't even think I have whipped cream, so not quite as awesome. I do have my trusty dusty cash cannon. I have a hula hoop, and I have costumes as always. So I do that every time we get, to 25,000 super hearts. Hey, Vicky. I love how everyone thinks Vicky's username means New Jersey instead of Next Juice. Okay, how many of you are here to hear about the book? Because here I go, just chatting as usual. We only have an hour. This is a pretty short book though, so I think we can do this. And then if we have some time at the end, there's some questions at the end that we can all kind of work through together that are just some fun, kind of get your brain going in a different direction, be creative kind of questions. Dave, thank you for the super hearts. I appreciate that. So can everyone hear me okay? I have this giant pimple on my head, so my microphone is here in my ear, and I don't want to pull my hair back because you'll see the pimple. It's disgusting. And I don't know if you can hear me very well. So can you guys just tell me, can you hear me well enough? Yay? Nay. Yay? Nay. Victoria, hi! You had to change it? Well, it still looks like her to me. Vicky, what is that? You're saying hashtag sex to my boyfriend? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Alvin. Hey, Alvin. Hey, Trav. Thanks for the super hearts on that last broadcast, too. Dub, that's awesome. I love it. I think she would appreciate it. Hey, Violet Star. Okay, you can hear. Good, good, good. So, if you don't know, I read a new book every single week, and I do reviews on here. So, my next book after this one is called Shatterday by Harlan Ellison, and I'm maybe a quarter of the way into this one. So Harlan Ellison's Shatterday, that will be our next book review. So make sure that you subscribe, follow, turn your notifications on. We are live on Periscope and YouTube right now. Next Juice is the same both times. Vicky almost got muted. It's Next Juice everywhere. NEX Juice, JUICE. I also post to Instagram every single day. She greets you with that every time, Ed. I never even noticed. Violet says that they lost audio. Hopefully, nobody else. If you probably can't hear me, but hopefully, if you leave the broadcast and come back in, your audio will come back. I do Periscope as a full-time job. I don't mind you asking, Ben. I would love to help you learn. I think that you have, I think that's really cool that you want to focus on Periscope, and I love helping people grow their live streaming business, and I do it all the time. No, he's my number six super fan. Yes, six. You could also pronounce it Seeks, or the way Vicky says it. Hi, Jay! Yes, good vibes to you too. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good Easter. Back to work today on Monday, maybe. Maybe not. Is it what? Good Monday? Is that a thing? Am I making things up right now? Did you guys have work today? I don't know. The kids didn't have school, so we went to an amusement park. We had a grand old time, and you can see Ed climbing a rock wall on my Instagram story. You're number three, Laura? Oh, snap! Open Ed. If you can maybe even hear kids screaming in the background, Ed is trying to put the kids to sleep or bathing them or something. I don't think it's going very well, but he's still in here. I am using my computer and my cell phone. I'm actually broadcasting through my computer to two places simultaneously through a site called Restream, restream.io, R-E-Stream, R-E-S-T-R-E-A-M. Let me at least put this, oh, he must be hiding in bed. Yeah, they're probably just screaming from the bathtub. They're taking over. Hi, Deb. Deb has a 6-year-old as well, so she understands. Just put him in the tub and go hide out, and they can just take over the house. All right. So it's called Work It Girl, Run the Show Like CEO Oprah Winfrey. It's written by Caroline Moss and it's illustrated by Sinem Urkas. And the illustrations in this book are awesome. You can get a feel for it even right here from the cover. And I'm going to be posting some pictures of these illustrations to my Instagram page. Of course, all credit to Sinem just to show like inspirational quotes from Oprah. I think it's a really cool way to encapsulate some of that stuff. So hopefully that's okay with her. If not, or him, I assume it's a female. If not, just please let me know and I won't post those. Yes, Cosmic. I had an idea that that's pretty much what it is. He can't be readily available or else his video goes out tub. Jathan's in the tub now and I'm cleaning. See, Deb's doing it right now too. And she's in a broadcast. Look at these multitasking parents. Can we just give it up? Give it up for everybody. Okay, let's get to it. So I learned some really cool stuff about Oprah. So this is not written by Oprah, but she has written some books. And in the back of this book, why don't we start there in the back actually? There's a list of further reading. So this book, as you can probably tell by the size of it and the length of it and kind of how it's illustrated and written, it's really for young women. I just happened to walk past it in the library, so when I saw it at the library, I decided that I'd like to read it, and it's kind of a cheat book to read because it's so easy. It only took me like an hour at most to read it. But here's some books that may be more appropriate for an older audience. Maybe you can grab a screenshot of that. So Oprah wrote two of the books on here called What I Know for Sure and The Wisdom of Sundays. There's also books from her magazine, Gail King. What are some really popular names on here? Maya Angelou, Alice Walker, The Color Purple. So really, really cool stuff. This was probably one of my favorite pages of the whole book. I added almost every single one of these books to my reading list. My reading list is over 500 books long, but hopefully you'll see some reviews coming up on those books soon. If you are a sponsor of this channel, you can always help me to prioritize books by just letting me know which ones you'd like me to read first or sending them to me. That's like the book I'm reading right now, Shatterday. This was gifted to me by one of our sponsors. He's actually a monthly sponsor of the channel every single month. His name's Mark Gage, and he sent this to me, and this is the book I'm reading next and we'll be doing a review on next. So a few different ways to kind of get your books moved to the front of the line. Now, I never realized how poor Oprah was when she was born. So she was actually, when she was, I don't know exactly how old she was. Oh, when she was 4 years old? No. I think basically that her grandma just started raising her right from the jump. And her dress, they have a really powerful illustration here. I won't be posting this one on Instagram, but you can see the fabric of her dress and the material of her doll that she's holding. So her dress was actually made out of a potato sack. She would go to church on Sundays with her grandma, and all the little girls were wearing dresses made of regular materials, and hers was made of a potato sack. So her grandma tried to make her a dress, but they were that poor. And her doll, can anyone tell what the doll is made out of? The doll is made out of corn husks. Several books by the artist Carol Lee Schneeman, Art and Women's Rights. Several books. What do you mean, about Oprah? Or about what? If you have books that you'd like to recommend to me, you can direct message me on Instagram or Twitter at nextjuice, N-E-X-Juice, J-U-I-C-E. And or you can email me, nextjuice@gmail.com. Just tell me what books and I'll add them to my list. So Deb says, I've read her story, very inspiring, and reminds us that money means nothing really. Um, I don't know if I agree that money means nothing. I think money is a very, very powerful tool and it can completely transform your life, especially if you earn it rather than just are handed it, if you win the lottery or something. It means nothing in your come up regarding pushing forward. Yes, you don't have to be born with money to become the richest woman in America, which I believe she does still hold that title. Hi, Steph. How are you? Steph's going to be live on this channel in 2 hours with an hour of yoga at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So follow Holistic Deb, follow Steph Ray Arts. They're both broadcasters on this channel, and they have channels of their own too. So don't forget to follow this channel too. Okay. So she would go to church and she was very aware that she was very poor. People would call her sack girl and just kind of tease her for not having a lot of money. And she was very, very aware of that. However, she had a natural ability for public speaking right from the jump. So they even show her here speaking in front of church. And the women at the church would say, "Oh my gosh, she's so gifted. She's going places." They had a lot of confidence in her, as did her grandmother. And her grandmother would help her with reading and writing and a lot of things that would be really important. Yeah, exactly, Deb. Soon you'll both be in Florida. Steph's already in Florida. Hey, Matthew, how are you? Then something kind of horrible happened, which some of you may have experienced already in your life, which is that her grandmother passed away. And she had to go live with her mom. Well, her mom, since kind of basically abandoning Oprah with her grandmother, had went and had another daughter who she seemed to love more than Oprah, and she was really struggling. She was working really long hours, working hard for basically table scraps. And when Oprah went to stay with her, there wasn't really enough room in the, I think it was a boarding house, and they actually made Oprah sleep on the porch, on the front porch. So that was difficult, as you can imagine. She was 6 years old, 6 years old, and her mother was working as a maid. And remember, this is it, I think this was in the 50s, and Black women just didn't have a whole lot of rights, they didn't have a lot of opportunity, and her mom was a good example of that. So her mom also, because she was so busy all the time, not only being a mom, but also working as much as she could, she didn't have time to help Oprah with her reading and her writing, and she didn't really give her a lot of attention at all. So she really struggled, and that was a really dark period in her life. She was abused and she was raped multiple times. So, and she was also darker skinned than her sister Patricia, who was the one that her mom seemed to love more than her. And that was a disadvantage for her in terms of how the family viewed her. So her father, on the bright side, was much better with her. So unfortunately, at first, mom and dad were it was a custody battle, custody struggle back and forth between mom and dad. And she always preferred being with her father because her father gave her a lot more attention and he helped her a lot with her studies. So fast forward into high school years, and she was able to stay full time with her father. Her mom basically gave her up, and thank God she did, because her dad actually, interestingly enough, as I said, I read a new book every week. Well, Oprah's dad, when she was in high school, made her read a book every week and do a book report on it to make sure that she was keeping up on her studies, keeping up on her English, her writing. He knew she was good with speaking, so he really cultivated those skills and helped to stay on her. And he was strict in what they say is a good way. He made sure that she was getting good grades, and he was really on her. It wasn't like a passive parenting thing. He really gave her what the appropriate amount of discipline, attention to keep her on that right path, so that she ended up graduating with good grades. She ended up actually getting a scholarship. She went to live with her father when she was 14 years old. She ended up getting a scholarship to college. She was in the drama and debate teams at her school. I'm trying to remember how she ended up. Okay, she won a speaking competition, and the grand prize was a 4-year scholarship to the University of Tennessee, which was a huge opportunity because she wanted to go to college, but she had no idea how she was going to do that because she did not have enough money to afford it. So this was a great opportunity. She got the scholarship. She went to the university, and then while she was at the university, she ended up getting a really awesome job offer. So she got a job offer to be a news anchor in Nashville, Tennessee, which made her actually the first Black news anchor in Nashville, and I believe in all of Tennessee. Um, it was called WVOL. I don't have it right in front of me, but she was already making history, right, in her early 20s. And she was actually torn, like, should I finish college? Should I go take this job? And her professor, one of her professors, kind of reasoned with her, aren't you in college so that you can get a good job? Well, if you're already being offered a good job, take the job. If it doesn't work out, you can always finish school at another time. And I think that's really wise advice. I often tell people, why do you want to go to college? What was the purpose? If you need to take certain courses to get a certain job, like being a lawyer, being a doctor, if you want to take certain courses out of interest, you don't always have to take, you can take certain classes, right? You don't always have to get a degree for things like business administration. I don't have a degree in business administration yet. I've been running my own business now for about 3 years. And I didn't need the degree, right? I didn't need to go into massive thousands of dollars of debt, tens of thousands of dollars of debt to be able to make money. So, and I was offered good jobs when I was young as well. So I thought that was a good perspective because you don't always hear about that. We think that, you have to go to college for ever and then you can go get a good job, but then you're paying off student loans your whole life, and it's just really not the only way to do it. A lot of people take that route, but it's not the only way, and it's not the way that Oprah chose to do it. She had a scholarship, so she wasn't going into debt, so that made it a lot easier, right? And then she got the good job. She went and she was a news anchor, which she really enjoyed. She loved doing it. And then what ended up happening was she got another opportunity, an even bigger opportunity in Baltimore, Maryland. And this went a little bit differently. They wanted to have her on a talk show, I believe, a co-host on a news show. Co-host on a news show. Hey, Heaven, I'm good. How are you? Hey, Jessica, first comment to the broadcast on YouTube. And they promoted it as, what is an Oprah? And they got all this hype about it. And to this day, she says she never really feels like she lived up to all the hype around her. What is an Oprah? They didn't know what an Oprah was. Hey, Jenny, but they didn't know it was a person, right? So then they finally revealed what an Oprah was, and it was a black woman, which to them wasn't all that exciting or miraculous, and there was all this hype, and what's so special about her? Well, not necessarily anything at this point. She didn't feel like she really lived up to that. And her co-host, who was Jerry Turner, did not like her and did not try to hide it. He didn't like how emotional she got when she was sharing certain news stories. Thanks for inviting Jenny. And he also didn't like that she got involved with the story. So she would tell a story about people losing their homes, and then later on her own personal time, she would bring them blankets or bring them food, bring them supplies, and everyone would kind of like shun her and tease her and say, no, you have to be an objective journalist. You can't get involved in the stories. And she realized, well, maybe I don't want to be a journalist. Maybe I do want to actually get involved. If I feel led to do something and I can help someone, I want to do that without getting in trouble for it. Ultimately, they ended up demoting her. So she was no longer a co-host. He ended up running the show by himself, and she was doing like odds and ends jobs around behind the scenes around the production studio. And they were hoping that she would quit, and she probably would have because she was having a really hard time making any friends. She felt very judged, very outcast. However, she had no other job opportunities, and she needed to pay her rent and pay her bills, so she didn't quit. And thank God she didn't, because then she slowly over time did start to make friends. And she made, hey troll, I'm not too worried. I like Heinz. All right. So, and I think my business model is a good one. So anyone who wants to use it, please do it, because it's been successful for me, and I hope it would be successful for you as well. So his name was Richard Scher, and in 1978, he and Oprah launched a talk show called People Are Talking at the same station that had demoted her just a year before that. And him and Oprah had really great chemistry, and they also had a producer named Gail. I don't have the full name here. I'm sorry, the producer was Arlene Weiner. I forget who Gail ended up being one of her best friends that she met in Nashville. And they had basically like four people that got along. They had good chemistry. They did this show, and it was very popular. It really took off despite the critics and all the people from when she had first moved there and kind of what they expected. So then she realized that this morning show in Chicago wanted people to send audition tapes, which was a bigger opportunity for her. But she was nervous, so she sent in her audition, but she was actually kind of hoping that she wouldn't get the job because she had finally started to make friends. She was finally getting into that comfort zone. And you know, the danger of that, if you're an entrepreneur or just anyone, your comfort zone is comfortable. That's why you call it your comfort zone. And sometimes we're afraid to go outside of it. And that's usually where the miracles and the big things really happen, is when we go out of that comfort zone. So she was nervous about going to Chicago. She wasn't sure how it was going to go. She didn't want to start over. She didn't want to have the same experience she had just had in Baltimore. And she went for it anyway. She ended up getting the job. She went for it. And almost immediately, Chicago felt like home to her. Gail King, thank you. I saw the movie a while back when she was stuck in a chair on the porch. Yeah, sleeping on her mom's porch in the boarding house. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that when she was in her, yeah, between the age of about 6 and 14. Hey Steph, hey John. I'm good. How are you doing? How's everybody doing today? So she went, she did it, and the guy's name was Dennis Swanson, who thought that she was going to be a big star in Chicago, and she did amazing on this morning show. Everyone loved her. She was funny, and that was unheard of in talk radio and morning shows. There was nobody else doing that, and people started tuning in by the masses. She had a great energy, great charisma, great sense of humor, and people just loved that. So then eventually, I don't know exactly how long, they ended up coming up with what you may have heard of, the Oprah Winfrey Show. The Oprah Winfrey Show. And this was her own talk show. And many of you have probably seen this talk show. I used to watch this with my grandma when I was growing up. Hey, Lou. And the first thing she ever said, the cameras turned on Oprah on the very first episode of her show, and Oprah, who was nervous, blurted, quote, "I have hives under my armpits." Thanks for inviting your followers, Lou, retweeting on Twitter and sharing on Twitter with the trifecta. Thank you for the super hearts too. Look at you coming in all fancy. Would I say she redefined radio comedy? You get a car and you get a car. Well, that's to come. That's to come, Vicky. Just spoiler, Vicky. Spoiler alert. What year was her show? 1986, September 1986. Such a staple show. Weird that it's gone. Been so long, but yet I feel like it was always on. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it was on for a very long time. You know, it goes all the way to the end of it in this book here. But okay, we have some time. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing. Let me slow down. And they loved that. She was so real, right? She said, "Oh, I have hives under my armpits," and everyone started laughing, and people could relate to her. And that's what they were kind of missing on TV. It was all celebrities, it was all actors and actresses, and you know, these picture perfect looking people. And this was a real talk show where she brought real people on to talk about real issues. She started talking about gender, talking about race, talking about politics, talking about things that people weren't really being invited into the conversation on television. And she couldn't get any celebrities to help her get the show off of the ground because no one knew who she was. She sent mink teddy bears to a bunch of celebrities, and that was not successful. But just by being herself and doing a really good job hustling like a boss, she was able to get a lot of celebrities on her show, right? So people remember the infamous Tom Cruise jumping on the couch. She had Barack and Michelle Obama on her show at one point. And they said that something that was really interesting about her is that she always stayed humble. She always made sure to recognize those people in the beginning who had given her opportunities, who had seen and believed in her, and seen in her what she had hoped she could show. And she always remembered her grandma, who was extremely, extremely poor. And she knew at the age of 4 that she wasn't going to have the same life as her grandma. She knew things were going to be different. She could never have really imagined how different and how amazing and how wealthy and how many opportunities she was going to be able to get herself and to give to other people. So then she started giving back to the community. And one of her quotes is, "The happiness you feel is in direct proportion to the love you give." This one won't be on my Instagram page either, just because it got kind of cut off there in the binding. And then she started giving opportunities. She started giving people scholarships to schools. She started giving away cars to teachers. That's one of the most famous one when she gave away a car. She started doing her favorite things show. And what I didn't know about this is it's not just a randomly selected audience. She would select They would basically like interview potential guests on the show and try to find people who could really directly benefit the most from the items that they were going to be receiving on the show as giveaways. So a lot of work went into this. She was directly involved in so much of this, and she became Oprah, the Oprah that we all know of, right? And eventually she ended the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2010. It has now been almost 9 years since she ended the Oprah Winfrey Show. So she still has the Oprah magazine, she has the Oprah book club, she still has the Oprah network, the O network. There's still a lot that she does, but she realized that she had done what she could on the show. She really felt like she just couldn't do more. She had done everything that she could do with that show, and it was time for her to step back and do other things and focus on other things. As we know, she's a huge philanthropist and she spends a lot of time doing that, probably building foundations. Hey Josh, traveling, doing speaking engagements, and writing books, right? We talked about some of her books in the beginning. So, the end of the book culminates with 10 tips to run the show like Oprah. And if we have a few minutes after I read these out, then we can ask some of the questions and hopefully you guys will participate in some of that too. So, number one, learn from the people in your life who love you. Be open to know, maybe you don't know everything. Maybe some of these people who really love you can teach you something. Maybe they want the best for you. Maybe they have some good advice. I am a firm believer that only you know what you should do, and only you really like you understand, I really want to do this, because if you really want to do something, you have the energy to do it and the commitment and the drive. Whereas someone else might say, "Oh, well, you're so smart, you should be a scientist." And you're like, "Okay, well, I don't want to do that." It might be fine advice, but follow your own heart too. I don't know what you're asking me, troll. Hi, Suzanne. Number two, always try to do right, even in the wrong circumstances. She always tried to be her best, even in the really hard circumstances she faced when she was with her mom. Remember, she was raped, I believe, twice. Josh said, "Can we learn from the haters too? Are they basically useless?" Abraham Lincoln said we can learn from everyone, even if it's what not to do, right? I'm the same person, Suzanne, just the name of the channel changed. Number three, work on your craft. No one wakes up in the morning and becomes the best at what they do with no time, effort, or practice. Number four, just because no one else has done it before does not mean that you can't be the first. Number five, don't give up. Life is not easy. Number six, it's okay to step out of your comfort zone, which we talked about a little bit earlier in this broadcast. Number seven, don't be afraid to be silly. People love silly. This is what I was trying to really encourage Tanae to do on her last broadcast. She was gonna use that, the game Pie Face. You put the whipped cream on the hand and you turn the little knob a certain number of times until you get pied in the face. Well, she was gonna wait till the end of the broadcast to do it. And I said, no, do it now because it'll get people excited and they'll send more super hearts so that you pie yourself again. So you have to keep pieing yourself throughout the broadcast because she does it. She would turn the knob once for every 1,000 super hearts. So I was like, if you do it throughout the show, it kind of gets people more excited. It's more silly. It's more fun. Don't be afraid to be silly. Like she's like, oh, now I have whipped cream in my eyelash. I'm gonna have this for the rest of the broadcast. And my face is all sticky. It's like, yeah, but that's silly. That's fun, and people do love that. Like, it's nice to be beautiful, pretty, always looking so perfect, flawless. But people don't like that as much as you might think. It's not that exciting. It's not that entertaining, especially in the modern day where if you go on Instagram, I mean, you can find 500 women that look flawlessly perfect thanks to Photoshop and plastic surgery and potentially just them being naturally beautiful in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye. So what value can you create outside of being a beautiful specimen? Maybe being a little silly, being a little fun. I'm only silly on this app. I'm never silly outside the app. Well, I encourage you to be silly. My father is rich, so life is very easy for me. Hater. Oh no, that's a different person. Hater, play a song. Okay, I don't think that you're paying attention and you're distracting me. I do like that you have the name Orange in your title because we have an orange as our logo. Um, John Hardigan, I would argue that if you were born rich, that it would actually be more difficult for you because you may not know how to earn money because you didn't, never had to before, unless your dad teaches you that too. We never do anything silly here, though. Yeah, Josh. Like nobody's ever worn five hats here. Five hats? No, it was 20 different costumes. She looks just like Jenny Garth. Are you talking about Tanae? Yes. Yeah, so that was, and she is silly. She has that in her, but it's like you can see her being like, I don't really know if I want to be that silly. Like the idea was nice, but and even like people would send more super hearts, so she had to do more. And she was like, I'm like, yes, this is great. This is fun. This is, people really do like that. And I totally agree with Oprah on that. You see me do it all the time on this channel. I think it is some of the secret sauce to why I've had so much more success as a live streamer than most any other live streamer on Periscope from what I've seen in terms of viewer support financially is that I can be silly, right? I'll put my deodorant on in the broadcast. I'll do a hula hoop. I'll shoot off the cash cannon. I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at your jokes. I try not to be too serious because I think life's too short to be too serious. And my mom, thank God for her, taught me at a very young age to laugh at myself, to realize sometimes I say stupid things or do stupid things or look weird and just laugh about it, because everyone else is laughing anyway. So rather than be offended and take things personally, learn to laugh at yourself. And I think that's a huge piece of advice for anyone. Like, just relax, laugh, be silly, have some fun, find your inner child, okay? Like, let loose a little bit. Number 8, stay humble and remember who helped you along the way. Add the spices to your silhouette. The spices? What spices? The Spice Girls. I love the Spice Girls. If you wanna be my love. I don't even like that song. Okay, number 9. Do with intention. We've talked about this on this channel umpteen million bajillion times. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you in this broadcast right now? Why do you have the job that you have? Why are you with the person that you're with? Why do you live where you live? What are your intentions? Are you living up to your intentions? Do you know the reasons for the things that you do? Are you doing it because you want to do it or because someone else wants to do it and you'd rather just live someone else's dream and someone else's desires rather than your own? It's a really, really tough question, but I think it's important to ask yourself. We talked about the 7 levels deep exercise a few months back, where you ask yourself why 7 times. So you say, okay, why am I working this job? Well, because X, because it pays the bills. Well, why is it important to pay the bills, right? Why are your bills at the level that they're at? For you, it's going to be different questions, like different whys as you go through. Why is that important? Why? Why is that important? Why? And you just go through it 7 times. You could be pretty amazed at what comes up. I thought it was a silly exercise. I was like, yeah, it's one of those, it's one of those self-help development improvement things that's just gonna tell me what I already know. I already know why I do what I do. I'm pretty clear and pretty focused. I got really clear and focused a couple years ago, and I am still. But what I realized in doing that myself was that I was approaching my mission and what I wanted to have happen completely wrong, and that I was defeating my own purpose in my methods, and that was a huge moment of awakening for me. I apologized profusely to a few of my close friends, actually Heinz being one of them. Someone mentioned him earlier, and I now talk about what I talked about earlier about how I think only you know what you should do. I can say things that worked for me. I can say what I think. If you want my advice, I can say what I think, but ultimately the buck rests with you. Only you can decide what you should do, and whatever you think, even if it seems a little weird, if nobody else thinks you should do it, or you're a little bit nervous, it's out of your comfort zone, just do it, because it's not, almost nothing in life is permanent, right? You just do it, and if you end up not liking that choice, just change it, do something different. Most things in life are not permanent, almost nothing. Thank you, Al. R. Kelly. Hi, R. Kelly. I run this live streaming network. There's 14 of us that broadcast on here, but I own the network. Hi, Gemma. How are you, Gemma? Ah! Did you guys see our broadcast last night about the Thomas train? Thomas Strong. I talked about my friend Gemma. There she is, a flying visit as Thomas is still up at going on 2 a.m., but I love you all. I love you too, Gemma. Last night we talked about Gemma. We talked about her wish list. We talked about her son, Thomas, who has recently been diagnosed with leukemia, and she said she fell on the floor looking at her phone this morning. So members of this community Ended up getting 5 things off of Gemma's wish list that I know of just last night. And I'm like, now she's gonna have to put new things. She's gonna have to put more stuff on her wish list. What else can make their life easier, their life better? Because you'd be amazed how generous people can be. We're talking about one of the most generous people in the world right now, Oprah Winfrey, and this community embodies that energy so much. It blew me away. It blew Gemma away. She's super grateful. I'm super impressed. I am just blown away by you guys every day, and I'm really excited to see how it helps Gemma and Thomas over the next few years, really, because he's looking at what, 4.5 years of chemo ahead, and that's a long process. That's a lot to do. So every little thing that we can do really can go a long way. It's still going to be hard. It's still going to be unimaginably harder than probably anyone who hasn't gone through it could even fathom. But even if we can make it 1% easier, 1% better, I think that's all we really can do, right? Okay. Gemma, I love you. So she's looking for tips to get her son to sleep if anyone has any ideas. She said, please make sure they're legal to do to her kid. Congratulations on what, troll? Okay. I love you, Gemma. Good luck. Good luck. I don't know. Ed's trying to put the kids to sleep right now. I don't know. Okay. Good night. I know. I hope you go to sleep soon. Oh, she was up till 4 in the morning last night. So I chatted with her a little bit before we went live. Hi, Laura. Did I say hi to you? I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. Okay, so why are you doing what you're doing? And the final tip here at number 10 is give back. That's perfect time for Gemma to come in, right? We've had a lot of success on this channel. What can we do? We can give back to someone who can really, really, really use it right now. It's nearly 2 a.m., so 2 hours to go to beat yesterday. You got this. You got this. Um, I don't know really what works for us. We have our routines. We do bath time, stories, cuddles. We do stories, lights out, cuddles, and try. You can hear them screaming. It's not working. Okay, don't listen to me. I obviously have no idea what works. All right, so I said if we had a few minutes at the end of the broadcast, you're intentionally laying on the couch watching next to you. Thank you, Josh. Um, legal 40-year barrel aged bourbon is legal, right? Only if you are of age, and he's 5. Honest answer, your job trying to sell Oprah Winfrey books? No, Oprah Winfrey didn't write this book, and I'm not trying to get you to sell it. I took this from the library, so I didn't buy it either. I'm gonna bring it back to the library. This is like a children's book. It's for like young women. I mean, you could read this if you wanted to, but I just told you what it was about. So I would probably recommend more of the things I showed in the beginning, the further reading. But on YouTube, I do have a link if you buy this book on eBay, I think I might get a few cents for that. I have an eBay partnership deal, but now I'm fuzzy. Now I'm fuzzy. Focus. Focus. Okay, hang on. I gotta manually focus my camera. It's freaking out. Freak. Focus. Almost. Do you hear them screaming? They are not going to bed. Okay, there we go. And my nose is itchy. I've been sneezing all day. My allergies are in full force right now. Catching a predator. Wow, what a great troll name. All right, so first question is, Oprah made her mark talking to lots of different people. If you had your own TV show, and please feel free to participate in the comments here. If you had your own TV show and could invite 3 people to come and talk to you, even if you want to just do one, who would you choose and why would you choose them? Hey, Charlie, good timing. So, if you had your own TV show and you could bring anyone on your show, who would you choose and why? Obviously, I would choose Oprah as one of my 3 people because she went from literally rags, the potato sack dress, to riches, being the richest woman in America as far as I know. And she does talk shows, which is basically what I do, just as a live streamer. So I would love to pick her brain and learn from her and just kind of bask in her wisdom and in her energy. Vicky says Taylor. Oh, that's nice. Who else? Anybody else have any ideas who they would have on their show? Do they have to be living? Sorry, I didn't hear it. Get creative. I guess it doesn't really matter. I think living is going to be more practical, but we don't have to be practical. These are just questions for creativity. A lot of you don't have a TV show, right? It's not like probably something that you're gonna do. Pete Rose and Ray Kroc. Okay, CG, and why is that? Jesus, too. Me as Super Fro and Steph Taylor live. Yes, Steph is a good person, actually. I've had her on this show twice, I think, maybe just at least once we did a split screen. Plus, I've traveled with her, I've met her multiple times. I talk to her a lot. I definitely learn from her, and I just love her. You'd summon George Washington from the dead? Interesting. And why him? Why George Washington? First president of America. Interesting choice. I like that. So, what about living people? What about people that we actually could chat with now? And Christians may argue you can talk to Jesus now, fine, fine. But someone that you could actually have on a talk show, like Oprah style, right? And you could sit there and chat with them. Would it be Donald Trump? Would it be Obama? Allergies because city workers plant male trees since female trees shed a lot of leaves equals more work. Oh, interesting, Violet. That's a really interesting uh, message that you just said. There's so much pollen. I'm like, maybe Will Smith would be fun. Will Smith is a good one. Very, very successful actor. Plus, he's actually had children who he's gotten to work with him, which I think is pretty interesting also. Let's see. I had a hard time. I didn't think about this a whole lot. We only have about 15 minutes left. Let's go to the next question. And you guys can keep answering that question if you want. I'm gonna at least try to get through all the questions before the end of the show because Jairus is coming on the Periscope channel in 16 minutes with an hour of music. And then right after him, Steph Ray will be here with an hour of yoga. So I just wanted to sneak in an hour here, and then I'll be live for 2 more hours after that, which will be at like 11:30 p.m. Eastern time or later. If I fall asleep, I might wake up in the middle of the night and go live then. Thank you, CG. I appreciate that, you guys. We can see that our creativity is a bit limited here. This isn't something that you can Google. And I played a game. Have you guys ever played the drinking game Never Have I Ever? And when you played like 10 years ago, it was a whole different game. We actually thought about what things that we had done or hadn't done. Now, I played this actually 1 year ago in Chicago with a bunch of people I met from Periscope. I'm calling you guys out. And nearly every single person in that room was Googling good ideas for the game, like good ideas for Never Have I Ever. And I was getting so triggered. I'm like, you guys, use your brains. Like, your brain can think of things that you have or have not done. It doesn't matter if you've done it. Just say never have ever, whatever, and then you could take a sip. It doesn't have to be a drinking game, right? Some people play with fingers. Whoever gets their fingers down first loses, move on to the next game. But it was like, wow, our brain, we need to be able to think. We have to be able to come up with things on our own, create things without relying on Google. Hello. And this question, there's been a couple interesting answers, but not a ton. So and I'm totally included in this. I guess Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, people's books that I've read. Johann Hari, I think, would be a really interesting guest to have. That's a good one. Johann Hari, I would have him. I love his book, Chasing the Scream. I would love to talk about that. Isabel Wanderlust, to talk about Clearwater. That's a good one. I love Clearwater. I don't know a ton about it, but I would love to go there. All right, all right. We're gonna be on the beach in a couple weeks, so make sure you're following too. Me and Ed and a couple special guests who are also Periscope broadcasters. Probably not the ones that you're thinking though. You should write your own book, Violet. Do it. I wrote a little ebook about how to make money on Periscope about a little over a year ago. It was a fun little achievement there. What kind of questions do you like to ask and answer? Excuse me. What kind of questions do you like to ask and answer? What kinds of questions do you not like to ask and answer? Why or why not? So I like asking and answering questions about almost everything. I love to talk about business. I love to talk about politics. I love to talk about philosophy, theology. I like a lot of those topics that people say you should never talk about politics, you should never talk about religion, you should never talk about race, you should never talk about gender. Gender nowadays isn't really so taboo. But I guess the questions that I don't like to ask and answer are things about like mechanics. I'm not super interested in like the workings of my car. I'm slightly interested. I know that I should know about this car that I drive around every day, all day, and how much cheaper it would be if I knew how to fix it and wasn't getting ripped off when I went to the mechanic. But I don't really like talking about it. I don't really like to discuss like how this house was built and what materials are better than which. And the other day, yesterday, Ed and his sister were talking about remodeling their house and what kind of floors they used, how much it costed, and I was like, oh God, Like, I'm just gonna go outside and play with the kids. I just don't like talking about that kind of stuff. I don't like talking about fashion, eyebrow styles, makeup, hair stuff. I don't, mm, mm-mm. So things I like, things that I don't like. I like ideas. Never have I ever overdosed. Halfway almost did when I lost my last jobs. Oh my God, Al. It was fine. It was fine, Vicky. I'm like that, but with food, I hate discussing food. Oh, really? I don't talk about politics. Too many people fight over views. No smoky eye. You guys feel free to answer. I'm not seeing a ton of you answering that question. Okay, next question. Oprah said she wanted to be paid to talk. What would you like to be paid to do? And what do you think that means? I would also like to be paid to talk. Oh, wait, I already am. Build a cave for a dwelling. Ooh, no. Mm-mm. Wait, build a cave? Doesn't nature do that for you? I don't want to live in a cave either. I actually like renting because when something goes wrong, I just call the office and I go, something's leaking, please help me. It's like budgeting how much I'm gonna spend each month for my house. Just leaving this running as I get ready for bed, if that's okay. Of course it is, Josh. Thank you. You're getting me some watch time on YouTube, which will help us to monetize maybe one day if that ever happens. A joke, chess. You'd like to be paid to play chess. Oh, that's interesting. Be paid to put emojis in at the right time. Maybe like an editor. Okay. Imagine you could have your own talk show. What would your talk show be called? Probably Next Juice. What would it have a theme song? It wouldn't have a song, it would be this. Who would sing it that nobody sings it? It's just this. That's the theme song. So we have 10 minutes left before Jairus goes live. Does anyone have any questions? Anything you want to share on some of your favorite books? Another funny book that I'm going to be reading soon is going to be, ooh, cash cannon almost fell off. Everybody Poops 410 Pounds a Year. An illustrated bathroom companion for grown-ups, full of fecal facts, stats, and trivia. Investing related. I love my favorite investing book is The Complete Investor by Danielle Town and Phil Town. However, Andrew Carnegie, the one of the wealthiest men in America of all time, would say that the best thing to invest in is your business. So you can invest in your own education, you can invest in your own business if you have your own business. Invest in your own future and your own income, something that you know really well, which is similar to what Danielle Town talks about, but she's really talking about investing in companies typically that are not your own, which is can be a good source of passive income, but Carnegie was really against that. He calls that speculation. So you kind of have to choose your battles with that one. What's the name Next Juice means? So Next Juice, Next is short for Nexus, which means a connected group. And that's what we are. We're a connected group, we're a community, and we have Charlie loves to talk about Next Juice, the juice, which is positive energy. It's a positive community. We're looking to get this channel live 24 hours a day. So you always have a place to come where a positive person is going to be there to give you some energy, lift you up, whether you're having a bad day, a rough day, you just need a break. Maybe you've been working really hard. You just want to have a little laugh. You want to maybe learn about a new book. I'm reading a new book every single week and doing reviews on it. We have yoga. We have music. We have a therapist on every Thursday. We have rappers that come on and rap your comments to get that creative juices. The creative juices, yes! The creative juice going. Yeah, Violet says creative juices. Yeah, that's another form of juice. Correct. Hi, Chris. All right. Now, if you guys don't have any more questions or random things to say, oh no, there's no page numbers in here. I was gonna say shout out a page number and I'll give you a random fact about poop, but that's positively positive that you said that. We need James Soroka. If I didn't have to give him my password, I would consider having him on the channel. How many days a week do I do this show? Every single day. I'm live 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. Read The Power of Nice. Can you please message me any suggestions that you have? If you're going to suggest for me to read something, I'm going to forget because I get so many comments and I do so many different things between the beginning and end of my broadcast. If you just message me on Instagram at NextJuice, same username as on here on Periscope or on YouTube. You can also message me on Twitter or you can email me nextjuice@gmail.com. Nex juice. Nexjuice. I have people that smack whipped cream in their face. Yeah, game shows, little trivia shows. I'm going to be doing another trivia show tonight. I'm going to be doing call-in trivia tonight, so that should be fun. Can I put the book up to screenshot? Yes. Are you talking about the poop book or the Oprah book? I'm going to assume you're talking about the Oprah book, but if it's the poop book, just let me know. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Fellowship of the Jews. A trilogy. The Next Jews. I've heard that one. It's not about Jewish people. I did see a lot of Jewish people today at the amusement park. There's a lot of Jewish people around here. Are they Jewish or are they Amish? Is that was that racist? I don't think so. Hi Vicky. Hi Donna. And when are we doing split screen comment wrapping? I didn't. Why did I read that one out loud? Okay, anyway, back to the poop facts. I don't know what to talk about, RD. Ooh. Ooh, you guys don't want to hear about this? Okay, here, this one's less disgusting. Hi, Trapper. America flushes down 7.2 billion rolls of toilet paper a year, with each trip to the toilet requiring an average of 57 squares, and each American wiping away 24 rolls each year. It's no surprise that the toilet paper industry is worth more than $2 billion and a couple 100,000 trees. Hi! I don't know if I want to say CG. It was fun, but I'm a little paranoid about my location. Paid to encourage people and be generous like Oprah sounds cool. Yeah, it is cool. That's what I do. I'm thinking of Hasidic, the ones with the hats. I think all Jewish people wear yarmulkes, right? Yarmulke, is that what it's called? Yeah. Do I have an advice for someone who came back to college after being away for 20 years? I've personally never done that, but the girl who's going on in about an hour and a half, Steph Ray, she's going to be on here doing yoga at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. She did that. I don't know if it was 20 years, but she actually just finished getting her degree like not that long ago, within the past 5 years or so. I won't say how old she is, but she did that. She like went back to college late. So, but if you want advice from me, from someone who's never done it, which is probably not really, I don't like to give advice on things that I've never done before. I would just want to know, like, what are you trying to do? What are you looking for advice on? What's wrong with doing that? I don't see anything wrong with that. What are you going to college for? How could you tell? Was it stamped on their foreheads? Well, they had like the curly ringlets of hair. They were speaking what I assume was Hebrew. They had yarmulkes and they were dressed formally. Only 2 billion? Matthew, that's a lot. Hi, Jim. Hello, H. No, thank you. I'm good. How are you? I use a lot more than 24 rolls a year. I think I do too, Tom. It's really bad. I use way too much. Not the yarmulke, the other hat, like a black hat. Oh, oh, wait, what are you talking about, like a top hat? No, I didn't see any of that, I don't think. There you go, Trapper. I don't want to say it out loud because then people think I'm giving away. Giving away cars. Beautiful hearts coming from my armpits. That's a funny comment. Do I make money online? I do, yes. Steph Ray is so sweet. Hi, Askell. Dressed formally as what? Just kidding. As humans. I came back to college after 20 years to finish my cinema degree and minoring in computer science. Wow, that's really amazing. My dad is a programmer. I learned SQL, what do they call it, SQL, and I started learning Java a little bit, and then I realized unless I'm going to be using this nearly every single day, I'm never going to be able to learn, retain, or remember any of it because it's like a language. It's like learning any kind of language. And I'm not a programmer, and I don't plan on programming anything. So I actually have wings, but I only put them on for 25,000 super hearts, and we're only at 8,457. And I have to end this broadcast in 3 minutes. You've been outside all day, felt so good. Oh, nice! Yeah, we were out at the amusement park, but it started raining partway through, so we were kind of cold, and we may or may not have forgotten the boys' coats. Hashtag bad parents. I had the worst allergies today, but I took an allergy pill at like 5, and I'm starting to feel a little better. I sneezed right before this broadcast. I also did the nasal spray thing. That didn't work at all. That just made my nose run. My nose wasn't even running before, and I was like, maybe it was decongesting. You should have a countdown clock like an episode of 24. I don't have that, but I do have to pee. 120 seconds. 119. 118. Hi, Lord Titus. 117. 116. 115. Vitamin C overload? Me or you? 115. You worked outside all afternoon? Wow, you guys all had good weather? It was super cloudy here all day. 110. 109. Sonam 108. 107. 106. 105. 104. 103. 102. 101. Bye, RD! Jairus will be on in 2 minutes. I quit allergy pills and started taking turmeric. Taking turmeric? Do you take it in pill form? I think Wolf Puppy was talking about that. RD, don't get any thoughts about Wolf Puppy, okay? Just because I'm talking about her doesn't mean that anything's going to be happening with her. Okay, wait, let me give you one more poop fact for the road and then I'm going to sign off. Something short. High-end cosmetic companies will use just about anything to achieve beautiful results. Bird poop, rich in exfoliating guanine, is a prized ingredient in some $200 facials. Yeah, Oliver, they have pill turmeric, I think, or maybe liquid? I don't know. It's not just the powder. You fly under my wings? Okay. Isn't easy since there is a discrimination towards older people, hard to make college friends. What difference does making friends make? Aren't you there to learn? Are you there to socialize? Because if you're there to socialize, I think there's a lot cheaper ways to socialize. Titus's works much better. Don't eat corn. News? Nothing like a good fact to end the day. Wait, news? We have a new content creator starting this weekend. Cheese and Crackers, Miss Alex from England. She's going to be starting a cooking show on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review of Work It Girl, Run the Show Like CEO Oprah Winfrey. I read a new book every single week. You can sign up for my written book reviews on the website nextjuice.com. RD, thank you for being the top contributor of this broadcast. Top contributor of every broadcast gets a shout out at the end of the month. So first week of May, you're going to be getting a shout out, RD, and our top contributors from every broadcast throughout April. Thank you, David, for over 2,000 super hearts. Thank you, Lou and Dev, for the super hearts. You guys are awesome. That's how we keep this channel going and growing together. You can also do it at nextjuice.com by clicking the support button. I got to get out of here because Jairus is about to come on with some awesome music. He's such a funny, fun guy. Check him out, hang out with him, and then Steph will be doing yoga right after, and then I'll be back for just some fun call-in trivia on Periscope only. So thank you for watching on YouTube and on Periscope. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor, and I hope to see you on the next juice.